Let's jump right in. Welcome to today's Lab Explainer. Okay, so we're diving straight into Lab Program 2, and we are going to build our very first web page completely from scratch using basic HTML elements. If you're an engineering student or honestly just stepping into the wild world of web development, this is literally where it all starts. We're going to build the absolute foundation of the internet right here, step by step. Here's our syllabus for today's explainer. It's a pretty straightforward roadmap. We'll start with our aim and procedure, look at essential HTML tags, physically write the code, observe the output, and then finally verify our final result. Let's get to it.
First up, Section 1, Aim and Procedure. We got to set the objective for this experiment.
So the primary goal of our lab today is straightforward, but it's absolutely critical. We're going to create a simple web page utilizing fundamental HTML elements, things like headings, paragraphs, and text formatting tags. Really, this isn't just about throwing words on a screen. It's about taking raw text and giving it structural meaning so a computer actually knows what to do with it. To pull this off, we're going to follow a super simple two-step procedure. First, we're acting as the builder. We open a basic text editor. Notepad works perfectly for this. Type in our code, and, this is the most important part, save it strictly with an .html extension. Honestly, if you save it as a .txt, the magic just won't happen. Then, step 2, we act as the viewer. We just take that newly saved HTML file and open it up with any web browser, like Chrome or Edge, to see our rendered page. All right, moving right along to Section 2, Essential HTML Tags. Let's check out our formatting elements. Before we write a single line of code, we really need to understand what an HTML tag actually is. Think of HTML tags as the skeleton of your page. They're the markup instructions that tell the browser exactly how to display your text. They normally sit inside those little angle brackets, acting as invisible commands that format and structure the content you actually see. Okay, so this specific toolset is crucial. We'll be using these exact tags today. We've got H1 and H2 for our primary and secondary headings, which gives our page a clear hierarchy. Then there's the P tag for your standard text paragraphs. For text formatting, we'll use strong for bold, heavy importance text, EM for emphasized or italicized text, and U for underlined text. Oh, and we'll also throw in a mark tag for some highlighted text, plus the BR tag. That one is super unique because it forces a quick line break without kicking off a whole new paragraph. Section 3, Writing the Code. Time to actually draft this HTML. We can basically chop our code down into two main chunks. You've got the invisible document structure that sets up the file, and then the body content where all the visual magic happens. At the very top, we declared doctype HTML, so the browser knows, hey, we're using modern HTML. We open the HTML tag, and inside the head, we set our page title to srmist. Now, none of that actually shows up on the main page. The real action? That happens inside the body tags. This is where we drop our H1 tag reading Welcome to srmist, along with everything else the user is going to read. Now, as we write out that body content, pay attention to how we nest tags. We're wrapping strong emphasis inside a standard paragraph tag to stack our formatting. It's literally like Russian nesting dolls. When we open a P tag and then immediately open a strong tag, we absolutely have to close them in the reverse order. So we close the strong tag first and then close the P tag. That right there is a fundamental rule for writing clean code. And look at this next part. It perfectly shows off how we use a break tag to force a new line. We've got why choose us wrapped in underline tags, but instead of starting a new paragraph, we just drop in that BR tag. The cool thing is, it doesn't even need a closing tag. It just pushes the very next line of text, which is our highlighted mark motto, shaping minds, building futures, straight down to the next line on the rendered page. All right, Section 4, Observing the Output. Let's power on this code and see how it renders in the browser. The big reveal. When we open our saved HTML file in the browser, all that raw text completely transforms into the structured, readable web page. Just notice the visual hierarchy here. Welcome to srmist is massive, and that's all thanks to the H1 tag. About Us and Admission Process are slightly smaller H2 headings. The browser literally read our invisible tags and painted the structured document for us. Let's zoom in on the specifics for a second. Comparing the code directly to what we see on screen, it's clear as day how typing the mark tag in Notepad results directly in that bright yellow highlighted text. Those angle brackets and the word mark, they completely disappear. The browser just absorbs the command and outputs a bright yellow highlight over our motto. It's pretty cool to see it in action. And similarly, take a look at the paragraph under About Us. Our M tag flawlessly converted the plain text into that emphasized, italicized formatting you see right there for state-of-the-art facilities. And right before it, the strong tag successfully made Empower Students bold. Every single structural tag we planted in our code has successfully bloomed in the browser's output. Which brings us to our final stop, Section 5, Final Result. Experiment verified. Now, in any engineering discipline, we have to formally confirm our findings, right? So we've officially met our aim. Our basic HTML elements were successfully implemented in code and visually verified in the browser. We literally proved today that plain text, when combined with standard HTML markup, can be completely structured into a highly readable, formatted web document. You guys have completely mastered the skeleton of web development today. You know exactly how to structure text and communicate hierarchy to a web browser. So as you wrap up the lab today, consider this. Now that we have the structure down, how are you going to style your next web page? HTML gives us the bones, for sure. But what will you use to add the colors, the layouts, and those interactive designs? Keep that in the back of your mind as you continue your engineering studies. Thanks for joining me for this lab explainer, and keep on experimenting.